Just try a few different poses. Just watch that shadow. Hey all, recently bought the Samyang 35-150mm. Just had my first use with it with a model friend, so I thought I'd share some photos and initial thoughts. When it comes to initial thoughts, the build quality is decent. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but it's not too heavy. The way I look at it when people moan about heavy lens, I just go to the gym. Or you know, some people are getting like a micro 4/3 camera. And to me, it's like just make yourself a little bit stronger, and it won't bother you. But anyway, yeah, the only thing that is a little bit annoying is I went to Brands Hatch recently, which had a camera show, and they had a Samyang lens there, and from memory, I tested the lens creep, and it didn't drop. But my copy, it does kind of drop from 35 to 100mm. But I don't think I can be bothered to send it back and hope for a better copy, because even if you get a tighter one, they tend to creep after a while. Anyway, from what I've read. And to be honest, I was just reading a forum post, and someone was like, "Why don't you just put a bit of black wire tape around it?" Because some people are sending them back and switching to Tanron, which is like £700 more. And for the sake of a little bit of tape, if it bothers you that much, you know, a bit of tape or 700 quid. But the main thing, I think also, because of the nature of the internet, a lot of these problems we see before we buy the lens, but if we didn't see the problem, we probably wouldn't even notice it, or we might just notice a little bit, oh, that's a bit annoying, and then carry on shooting. But it's a bit like getting obsessed with specifications. Sometimes it's best not to look on the internet and make your own judgment. But yeah, with regards to the initial photos, I'm pretty pleased with it. I'll cut to the photos and videos now that I took with it, and also I'll zoom in for a little clip just to see how sharp it captures around the eyes. One more thing I want to mention is this did have an issue when you're sort of shooting fast, where the screen would go black and say lens attachment not attached correctly or something along those lines. But I've just done a firmware update, because apparently it's a common problem. I solved the problem just by turning the camera on and off, but I'll drop in battery out for a sec, but it was a bit annoying. So I've done a firmware update anyway, and I need to give it a proper test now. With regards to the firmware, a lot of people think you have to buy an attachment to collect, like a dock to put the lens on, so that you can update the firmware. But with Panasonic cameras, you can just copy the firmware to the SD card, and then in the firmware menu you can actually select camera or lens to update the firmware, so you don't need to buy the dock for another £40–50. So anyway, let's jump to it. Give me a few movements, you're on video. So the aim of this shoot really was to just have my first walk around and try different focal lengths and apertures, get a bit feel for the bokeh and how sharp the lens was. So this one's had some minor skin retouching and a little bit of sharpening. Yep, keep going. Just try a few different poses. It's been a couple of years since I've worked with Nicola. Did do an epic Bodiam shot a couple of years back in a sort of big red flowy dress in front of Bodiam Castle. So yeah, have a look at Instagram. The link will be in the description. Quite looking forward to getting some more model autumn shots in the beginning of October. This is kind of autumn shoot now, but it's a bit early. The colours haven't really changed much yet. Although in this clip there is a few leaves on the floor and what have you, but there's still a lot of green and not a lot of orange. show you these close-ups now of both Nicola and my daughter, just to show the sharpness around the eyes, just after this final clip on the bench. Okay, so I've got Lightroom Classic on the left and normal Lightroom, or should we say newer Lightroom, on the right. I remember that I'd taken a few pictures of my daughter when I first had it delivered, and the eyes and those, well, the close-ups are really sharp, so I thought it'd be good to show you both. So we'll start with Nicola. This is a complete raw file that's been untouched, because the photos I used in the video I couldn't help but do a little bit of colour grading and skin retouching, because I sent them to Nicola and they appear on social media, so I always want to show my best work. Anyway, let's zoom in on this one. But yeah, as you can see here, there's lots of texture in the skin, and the eyes are nice and sharp with the eyelashes. This shot here is 77mm f2.6 ISO 100. Some of the shots in the video, the ISO is a little bit high because the light conditions kept changing. And if we move over to this right side of my daughter, just zoom in on the little pretty face. She is going through a phase at the moment of stealing my other half's makeup when she's not looking, and as you can tell by the lipstick, bless her. So yeah, that's quite a nice example, but I think I've got a sharper one. Let's go up. Here's a close-up here actually. If you zoom right in, you can see just how detailed and pretty my daughter's eyes are. You can see every little sort of strand of hair in her eyebrows as well. Just go to another shot. Go back. Zoom in on this one. Yeah, that's quite detailed as well. Could probably do boost in the shadows. Let's actually do that quickly now. Just you can see a bit more exposure. As you can tell, the eyes look really glittery. So in terms of sharpness, yeah, it's really impressive. The colours are quite neutral, I'd say. When I was watching the reviews against the Tamron looked a little bit warmer. In terms of sharpness, they actually had the Samyang sharper than the Tamron in some instances, but I think it varied from copy to copy of lens, because not all glass is built equally. But generally you were really splitting hairs to see the difference between the Samyang and Tamron. I do feel like I was making excuses a little bit at the beginning, because there are a couple of niggles. But you know, once the firmware has been updated, it's really just that zoom ring. But I have just seen a little clip about how you can just stick a little O-ring on the end of the zoom dial, and it just adds that extra little bit of friction so that it won't roll out. So yeah, I think I'm keeping it anyway, unless the firmware still niggles me when I do another shoot. But yeah, if you like my work, please drop us a subscribe and hit the notification bell. And yeah, I'm on Instagram as Chris Cork Photography, and Nicola is Nikki Nora 71, I think, but I'll put the link in the description. So all the best.